Good afternoon to all the viewers of this program who are watching this program with us on a weekly basis. Before we start the program, let me share the link with all of the viewers who want to see it live through Telegram. And also it'll give me a chance to bring it up on my phone so that in case if there is a problem that I see, I can solve for you so that we won't have a big problem with it going forward. Let me click on that. Perfect. Okay, now I have the program and you have the program. I can see it exactly like you see it. We can solve problems if they arise. All right, now let me go into sharing screen so I can bring up the material for you. And in the meantime, I'll play a scary music for Musa al-Kazim that fits him. Well, ladies and gentlemen, last week we stopped at one of his nicknames, Abdul Saleh, which is the same Saleh, which is Salat comes from. And the word Salat, it means worship. Therefore, they put it here as a worshiper. And that's the same word that the word tusalli comes from, meaning someone who's worshiping. And so we explained how in the Quran, the God of Islam, Allah, used that same very word for himself and his angels, worshipping the Prophet of Islam, Muhammad. So if they say to you, who said so? Like they did with David Wood, with Mimi Hijab, that guy who, if he went to Jamaica, they would call him a butty boy. That butty boy, Muhammad Hijab, he said to David Wood, who said so? Now you can tell him, Quran said so. Because we caught them red-handed. They used the same word here, you see? But now we're going to go to his other names. Okay? As-Sayyid. This Al-Sayyid means the master. Why is he the master? I'm going to show you why. Because he was one of the Muslim masters and one of the imams. Due to this nickname, he was praised by a famous poet, Abdul Al. Because when you see Abu here, this Abu normally, Abu means father, so he's father of Fat, but most likely his name is Abdul whatever, but they don't give you the guy's name. They give you the name guy's son's name. Like anybody that could be anybody. So we don't know who this famous poet is because they never told us. But anyway, let's see what the poet said about this guy and why his name, Musa, why one of his names is master. Okay, we're going to see. I mean, he's going to do a poetry on why this guy is the master. Right? We're going to learn from the poetry why he is named master. Pay good attention, you, the speaking public. You will learn a lot from this program. I am the servant of the noble master, meaning he's a slave of this master. Wherever I am, he is given my best regards, which doesn't make any sense. What does that mean? Wherever I am, he is given my best regard. Like, what does it mean? It doesn't make any sense. In order for it to make sense, let's break this down. If he is giving his best regards to this Musa character, and he's going to be wherever he is, That means this Musa character has to be larger than life, to the point that he sits and the world is like this big in his hand, and his slave is sitting on this, being the world, in his hand, and wherever his slave goes, he can see him. That's one. If they meant he, the slave, has the authority to send greetings on behalf of the Imam wherever he goes, then that's a whole different meaning. And again, the sentence is wrong. And if the Imam in another scenario is giving his, meaning the slave's, best regards, then that goes against him being the slave of his Imam. This whole thing doesn't make any sense. Wherever I am, he, meaning the Imam, is given my best regard. It makes no sense. I don't know what he was smoking when he wrote this. It makes no sense. And if I am the servant of the noble Imam, so when he puts here, and if, when you put if, it means you have a doubt. So first he said he is the slave. Now he's saying maybe he's the slave. If, then I am free. So if he's not, he's going to be a free man. And time is my servant. First of all, time is nobody's servant. You don't control time. There is nobody who's going to come and say, oh, it's 3 o'clock now? No, I don't want it to be 3. I want it to be 2. And then they're going to keep it 2. Like, you're never going to add any seconds. It's just going to be 2. Well, if time is your slave, your servant, if you want it to be 2, it has to stay 2. Not 2 o'clock and 1 second, 2 o'clock and 2 seconds, 2 o'clock and 3. You won't have that. Again, that makes no sense. Because you just wrote something that doesn't mean anything. It's a bunch of gibberish writing. So first, we learn from this poetry that the Imam had slaves. And what did he teach the people that follow them? To think of owning slaves. That's why this guy says, if I'm not a slave, then time is my slave. Because he can't go and get a slave. So, time is a slave. So what did you learn? Slavery is good. That's why he's the master, because he has slaves. So you don't have slaves, so you're not the master. If you want to be a master, you got to have slaves. Okay? That's what you learn. His next name, Al-Wafi, the faithful. He's got lots of faith. Lots and lots of faith. Let's see what his faith was. Because he was the most faithful human being who was created in his time. There was nobody like him. No. He was loyal and kind to his companions and followers. I don't know if you noticed what I noticed, but I'm going to explain to you what I noticed. And I'm going to give you an example. My explanation will be in this example that I'm giving you, because it will make total sense to you when I give you this example. I want you to imagine this in your mind as I say it. You are a shepherd. Yes, you, the one watching me. Yeah, you. Not me, you. You're a shepherd. You have a flock of sheep. You've just taken them up into the mountains so they can eat from the mountains. It's a very green mountain, okay? There's lots of flowers on this mountain, lots of greenery on this mountain. It's not like one of those rocky mountains. This is a really good, nice, green mountains because we have a lot of that in between Iran and Turkey. There was a bunch of those, okay? No, it's not the chocolate mountain of Philippines. Keep that out of your mind. It's not chocolate. I know you. Anyway, back to our imagine this whole thing. You're a shepherd. You got a flock of sheep, lots of sheep, and you have a dog. Now, your dog is very loyal to you. When you want, you give him his pointer, and he chases the sheep to the direction you want. And when you're in trouble, like let's say wolves or coyotes come to attack your sheep or you, your dog is ready to defend, jumps in front, barks very loud, stands its ground, chases the wolves and the coyotes. Your dog is very loyal to you. Why? You're the shepherd. You're in charge. You're the master. Hence, your dog is loyal and kind to you. Takes direction from you. Now, this example that I gave you, let's replace you, the shepherd, and in your place, we'll plant this Musa character. And we're going to remove the flock of sheep. And instead of them, we're going to plant the Muslim community. And now we'll remove the dog, the final piece to the puzzle. And in the place of this dog, we're going to plant the Shia companions of this Musa character. Remember how the dog took directions from you and they were loyal to you? The companions of Musa should be loyal to Musa, not the other way around. You were not loyal to your dog. When your dog is fighting the wolves and the coyotes, you don't run in to the pack of wolves and coyotes and put the dog behind you and fight first. No, you let your dog do the fighting. And then you get behind your dog and support your dog. You let him lead, because if someone's going to get killed, you rather it would be your dog than you. You know, shepherds don't carry AK-47s. You know, they carry a stick. So there isn't much you're going to do with a stick. Likewise, the companions of Musa have to be loyal to Musa, not Musa be loyal to his companions. He's there to guide them. The one who does the loyal side is the one who's in the lower category. The one who's on the higher category does not show loyalty to the lower ones. It's the other way around. Oh, mullahs, they just write. They don't think when they're writing what they're writing. They just write. You know, just any garbage that comes in their mind, they write it down. You know, supposedly he wanted to make this be really good, but what he did is he just shot himself in the foot with what he wrote. And he didn't stop there. You would think that's bad enough. No. Continues. Rather, he was loyal even to his opponents and those who harbored malice against him. I mean, really? What? When the wolves came to eat the flock, you wanted the shepherd to go and grab the sheep, pull them down, and say, Mr. Wolf, go ahead and bite the neck. Okay, bite it hard. Okay, I got him. He can't run. He was loyal to his enemies. Oh boy. I mean, the trusted one, you know. All of them are Al-Amin. The Prophet was Al-Amin. You know, Ali was an Al-Amin. The Hassan and Hussein were Al-Amins. Ali Zainul Abidin was Al-Amin. They're all Al-Amin. Muhammad, Jafar, now this Musa character. I mean, they write this about all of them, right? They're trustable. You can trust this guy, right? Well, let's see how much you can trust this guy. According to what he himself wrote, he was trusted in the full meaning of the word. That says a lot, didn't it? Rather, his great personality was full of the trust he was entrusted with the affairs and precept of the religion, and with the affair of Muslims. Oh. You see, with the affair and precepts of religion means in Islam, the religion imposes strict rules on you to the point that when you want to go to the washroom and relieve yourself, the call of nature, in other words, it orders you to enter the washroom with your left foot. When you do, there are certain types of prayers you must read to be under the protection of this so-called God named Allah, or else Satan will come and play with the hair of your anus while you're sitting trying to relieve yourself. And that is why you take such a long time in the washroom, because you are being molested by Satan in the washroom. And when you want to clean yourself, again, it instructs on you how to do it. You have to use the left hand, and so on and so forth, and on and on and on and on. And if you don't do the rules that Islam tells you to do, well then, punishment will come on you. In other words, when this guy is given that affair, that means that what he is essentially doing is he's getting involved in the day-to-day life of the Muslims, and he's looking at who's breaking what laws, and therefore punishing those who broke the laws. In other words, he's the exact opposite of the trusted one. Because when he finds out what you did that was wrong, it's not between you and him. Rather, it's between you, him, the court, and those who will enforce the punishment on you, which will also happen in front and dead center of the town, so that everybody in the town can come and see you get punished, and they will all be told why you got punished, which means everybody now knows your business. That's right. He's anything but trustworthy. He gained this nickname just as his grandfather. Told you they all had this name. The great prophet. Yeah, he did the exact same thing. He gained it and attained it through it the confidence of people. Oh, he was in everybody's business. Whatever you did, he made sure everybody knew what you did. Adil Askar, the commander of the troops. Oh, we're going to show you what troops this guy had. He was the big general. He was the general that sits at the round table with the president of the country, and then they decide what they're going to do. They call it the war room. He was the guy that's in charge of all the guys, I will show you. I will show you. Let's see what they say first. This is among his nicknames. Sheikh Abbas al-Ghumi said so. He's the researcher. He has many, many books. Sheikh Abbas al-Ghumi says the reason for giving such a nickname to the Imam, meaning Musa, okay, is that he represented al-Mansur, the Caliph, for you who don't say Khe, on the day of Nowruz. Nowruz is not an Arab date. Nowruz is a Persian date. Nowruz is the first day of the year in the Persian calendar. It's a Persian day of celebration. It is the first of spring. It is the day when, from Zoroastrian and pre-Zoroastrian era of the Iranian country, which is known as Aryana, later claimed by European countries who call themselves Aryan, that Aryan comes from Aryana. Later on, even the Hindus in India, who are not white, by the way, want to claim themselves as part of the Aryan race, and everyone in between wants to call themselves the Aryan race. Even the Afghans want to call themselves the Aryan race, including their Pashto, who want to kill anything that has anything to do with Iran. Rather, they want to call themselves the Aryan race. And as you know, the Pashtus in the southern part of Afghanistan are nothing even remotely close to the color of white, which is what Aryan is known for. However, with all of that said, this guy, who's supposedly an Arab, is there celebrating a date which is for the Iranians as their new year on a day of spring, being the first, based on the rebirth of nature coming out of death, which was the winter, and life coming to everything. Hence, it is a no-ruse, meaning no is no, as in new in English, because new came from it, and ruse meaning day. So it is a new day. Now, this guy is celebrating something that is not part of Islam. And he is supposed to be in charge of Islam. It is the same as saying a Christian will go and celebrate one of the Eid days of Islam. It is like saying a Jew will celebrate Christmas just like a Christian and make it part of his Jewish religion. I mean, it's something far-fetched that no person who is representing in an authority figure position a religion would go and add something that's completely out of their religion into their religion and celebrate it. But that's exactly what this guy was doing. Meanwhile, the troops and their commanders paid him a visit. Now, on the day of Nowruz, when you visit somebody, you bring them gifts. Back then, 1,400 years ago, there was no Amazon. You didn't pre-order your gift. When you went and visited somebody, you normally gave them money as a gift so they can go and buy what they want. Because you're not going to know the guy's waist size. You're not going to know the guy's shoe size. You're not going to know what he has in his house and what he doesn't have in his house. I mean, it wasn't like they were taking their phones out and they were texting him, hey, yo, hey, do you have this in your house? Do you have that in your house? Huh? They bring you money. So they came to his house Number one, he's celebrating. When you celebrate, what do you have? You got your loud music, you got some food, you got some liquor. So he had that kind of thing going on. You know, the same liquor that supposedly is against the law in Islam. So he was breaking the rules of Islam. People are dancing. You go there, you see the girls dancing. He had all of that in his house. And they were running in to see this, but you can't run in and just see. You got to give a present. Hence, money, 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 money. You know, like the Carlson twins would say in wrestling, money, 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 money. He wants money, 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 money. That's why they came to his house. They're giving him money, right? Meanwhile, the troops and their commanders are coming and visiting him. They're all bringing him money. They're all taking part in his liquor because, you know, as long as he is there, he's not going to tattletale on you now because you will say, well, you were drinking too. Hence, you're safe. Therefore, he's trustworthy, you see. If he's doing it and you're doing it, well then. None of his forefathers and sons had undertaken such a ceremony. Meaning none of his forefathers drank like he drank. With everybody in the community coming to drink. None of them had the dancing girls like he had. None of them took a date that is outside of their religion and thrust it into their religion, make it an excuse to do what this guy was doing. None of them. Okay? Al-Kazim, the restraint. This guy is anything but restraint. And there's a bunch of lies that are told about him here, and I'm going to show you that in later episodes, why all of what he's going to say to us right now is a lie. He was given this nickname because he restrained his anger towards those wrongdoers and severely punished him and subjected him to exhaustion, to the extent that he died a martyr of poison in a dark prison. Now, he did die in a dark prison by poison. But there is a good reason for both why he went to prison and why they killed him in prison. There is a good reason for both. He did not show his pain and sorrow to anybody. Oh, he had lots of pain, ladies and gentlemen. Every day a piano fell on his head. This guy, he's never seen a day of hard work in his life. He never worked, first of all his life, he was from morning to sunset, from sunset to morning. The only thing this guy ever did is eat, sleep, relieve himself, and tend to his sexual pleasures with his own children. That's all this guy ever did. But, you know, he had a lot of sorrow. He had a lot of sadness. Doing what? Nobody knows. Another of his names. Dhul Nafs al-Zakiyah. The one with the pure soul. Please pay good attention to what we're going to read. Have your popcorn ready. I mean, you will be laughing. Just when you're laughing, don't eat your popcorn at the same time. You might choke, okay? Here we go. He was given this nickname because he had a clear soul. You know what clear means? You see this glass? It's clear. I can see through this glass. I can see through the water too. It's clear. They could see through his soul. Have you guys seen a soul? Apparently, you could see through this guy's soul. Who's this guy, Musa? Oh, boy. Told you, these guys, I think he was very high when he was writing this. What source of ingredients he used to get high on? Nobody knows. But Musa al-Kazim had a clear soul. You could see right through it, okay? which was not spoiled. His expiry date, there was no expiry date on it. If like you don't drink your milk, it'll go bad, or you have some food left over in the fridge and you don't eat it, it goes bad, It has an expiry. He didn't have an expiry date. I mean, his soul was clear and he had no expiry date on his soul. He doesn't have one. It never expires. His soul just, it's not like yours and mine. We will expire, right? No, we won't. Okay. Yeah. At least we know his won't. I mean, it's a soul. The soul doesn't die. The body dies. So how is the soul supposed to expire? That he has a non-expiring soul. Okay. I mean, what is this guy writing? Anyway, back to what we were saying. Neither by the sins of life, nor by the defilement of materials. What materials? Like, what material is going to touch his soul? Like, what are we talking about here? Are we talking about material that his soul is made out of? Are we talking about material you touch? Like, I grabbed this pen. My soul didn't grab this pen. I grabbed the pen. My body grabbed it. Like, what are we talking about here? What is he saying? For one, I can't get it. I can't understand this. It doesn't make any sense. His soul doesn't grab material. And what material is his soul going to be made out of? I mean, soul is something that comes from God. Are we now going to talk about material of God? I mean, what is he getting into? Nobody knows. I don't think he knows what he's talking about. To the extent it becomes high and unique. His soul was very high, apparently. Flew over his head. It wasn't inside his body. It was very high somewhere. And unique. Remember when I told you he has material in his soul? This is why I'm thinking the material was part of his soul. Like the material from this suit might be cotton. I don't know what his was. His material might have been diamond. I don't know. You never know. I don't know what he had. Nobody knows. Have you ever seen a soul? Another one of his most famous names is Bab al-Hawaj. Bab means gate, like a gate. Like in the movies, some king has a big castle and there is a gate that comes down, and between where the gate is going to land, underneath, you got like a big puddle of water that surrounds the castle. So if someone tried to come in, they'd fall in the water. They got like alligators or something in that water to eat people. And the only way in is for this gate to go poof, and then you cross over the gate to get inside, right? So he's that gate. He's that big gate for what? For needs. Hawaj, your needs. Like you go there and you say to this guy, oh, I'm so hungry, I can eat like 10, 15 buffaloes. I need food. And by the time you come out, a buffalo falls on your head. Well, how am I going to explain to you what your needs are? You're waiting for the government to send you some kind of a paper that is going to do something for you, and it's late, and you go to this guy and you ask him, and you come out and you go home, and in your mailbox you open it, you see the letters there. Huh? Or you need like a miracle. All the doctors told you can't be cured, and this cancer is going to kill you in like 5 days. And you go to this guy, and the cancer is removed. And you come out dancing and shaking and, living another 60 years. Your needs. There are 5 people in the Shia religion that are gate of needs. 5. There is Abbas, the half-brother of Hussein, one of his uncles if you go up generation by generation. One of them is Sukaina, the daughter of Hussein. Again, who would be like one of his aunts, generation by generation, if you will. You have Ali Asghar, the little kid that was the kid of Hussein. They all go back to Hussein. What you want? I didn't make it up. They did. You got Zainab, which is one of his aunts because it's the sister of Hussein. Hey, don't come to me why it's all Hussein. Go to them. They have this fascination with Hussein. They have to make everybody around him, you know, some kind of a mini God. You know? They all do stuff that God does. Because Jesus cured people, now they have to make up how they have so many people who can cure people like Jesus. And then you have this guy. He's the last. He's the fifth in the five, who are the Bab al-Hawaii, gate of needs. Whatever you need, you just go there. Let's see how they explain it. This is the greatest of his nicknames in mentioning the most famous of them in circulation and spreading. The non-Shia, meaning all the Muslims who are not Shia Muslims. In other words, Sunnis. And the Shia know well that when a distressed or a sad person visits the grave of Musa, hold on, time out. I'm officially calling a timeout. I have to tell you this. The reason why all these Sunnis say that Shia Muslims are not Muslim, the reason why in places like Pakistan, Afghanistan, in Saudi, and other places, they kill Shia Muslims, including Gaza, kill Shia Muslims. Somalia, kill Shia Muslims. Egypt, they kill Shia Muslims. The reason why they do this is because they say you're worshiping the dead in a grave, and therefore you are not Muslim. That's what the Sunni are saying. That's why they're killing Iranians inside of Iran, these Afghanis that are coming across the border illegally. Back to what he says. Allah relieves his pain and sorrow, and that when someone seeks sanctuary in his holy shrine, the shrine is built over his grave, okay? His needs are granted. Let me highlight that for you, okay? When someone seeks sanctuary in his holy shrine, his needs are granted. You'll see the highlighted portion come up for you shortly. So now we have a question. And it's a very important question. We'll ask the Shia and then the Sunni. Hey, Shias, you have access to this guy's grave. He's buried in Iraq. If I'm not mistaken, it should be in the city of al-Kazim. If not, it's in Samara. Why don't you go there right now, right this minute, and put it to a test? Go there, and you don't even need to talk, because it says when someone seeks sanctuary. It didn't say when someone comes there and opens their mouth and asks for a prayer. It's just you going in there, your needs are granted, okay? And it doesn't say you have to be a pure person. It says someone, meaning tall, short, fat, skinny, educated, non-educated, couch potato, hard worker, religious, non-religious, atheist, or whatever. Someone covers all of them. Someone is anyone. Someone with a lot of sin and someone who has no sin. They're all the same. They're all someone. as long as you go in the shrine, even if you don't say nothing, you are granted whatever your needs were. So why don't you guys go there now and ask, even, you can talk, do even better. Not just go inside, but go inside, like he said, and then ask. Why don't you just ask and say, oh Allah, in the authority of Musa al-Kazim, or ask Musa directly and say to him, Musa, grant the victory to the people of Gaza, destroy this Israeli nation, crush them all. Don't you say a river to the sea, Muslims? Why don't you ask him to do the river to the sea and get rid of all of the Jews in one shot? I mean, you go there, this guy's going to grant your needs, man. You come out, everyone's dead. How about that? Why don't you guys do that? Prove it to the world that Islam is the real religion and it's Shia Islam. Why don't you do that? Huh? It's easy. You've been talking about it for 75 years. And why are you struggling, man? Why are you so sad? Why you got all this sorrow? I mean, you just go in this guy's shrine and it's all over. Why don't you do it? All of you know this name, widespread. Everybody knows it. The Shia know it. The Sunni know it. All the Muslims know it. Put it to a test. Or is it all just stories coming out of the toilet? And you know it. I know it. Everybody else knows it now. Bunch of stories. Huh? You got all these terrorist groups, Khatam al-Hezbollah sitting in Iraq. They can't go. I mean, you guys go from Iran all the way to Karbala inside of Iraq. You throw yourself from like 100 miles away, not miles, but let's say from 100 yards away, you throw yourself on the floor like a bunch of worms and you crawl your way up to the shrine of Hussein. None of you can go another half an hour to this guy's shrine. Iraq is not that big. Iraq is an area the size of California. And these cities are not too far away from each other. Because a big portion of it is desert that no one goes to. So you chunk out the desert part, you got a place about half the size of California. And people drive. It's not like you're going to walk the whole entire time. No, you can get in a car and get in a taxi and go. And now for you, the Sunni people. Have you even heard this guy's name? I want to know which Sunni has heard this guy's name. I mean, what are you doing? Have you guys heard this guy's name? Any of you have gone and visited the dead grave of somebody other than your prophet and your first two caliphs, Abu Bakr and Umar? Other than that, have you ever visited anyone's grave? And the only reason why you visited those ones is because it's inside of a mosque called Masjid al-Nabi in Medina. And even there, you have guards standing there to make sure nobody goes to these graves because the Sunni world is against you going to a grave. So you just pass by it after you pray in the mosque. Now, have any of you heard this guy's name before? Or is this the very first time you're hearing it? If you're a Sunni Muslim and you listen to this lecture, write in the comments after the program if you've ever heard this guy's name before. This monkey is the first time you've heard of him, Musa al-Kazim. You've never heard of this monkey's name before. Let alone you go to his shrine and visit his dead body and all this crap that they wrote. Continuing, this is what happens to the someone who went to that grave. Let's see what happens to the someone who went to that grave. He returns home, cool and tranquil. I think he really meant calm. But as usual, he's a retard writing this thing. I mean, retarded is from it would be an insult to the word retarded if we use this for this guy. I mean, retarded people are smart compared to this guy. What can I say? Cool-hearted and tranquil, free from sudden events and calamities of the day. So for the Shia Muslims in Iran, you who work for the government and you get, your bottom part gets, it doesn't want to go down every time a woman, her scarf, her hijab falls from here to about here, and you want to grab her by the head and smash her cars and hit them with a baton in the head and smash their head to the subway trains and put them in a coma so they can die a day later, and then hide the news of the death for a good 3 weeks so that people don't come and protest why you're killing our children. Yeah, all you got to do is go visit this guy's grave and come back out. Then all these problems of the daily life won't affect you. Everyone can live in peace. Why don't you do it, man? Why are you waiting for it? Huh? All Shias, rather all Muslims, even the ones who are hearing this guy's name for the first time. I mean, they don't even know who this guy was. Okay, all of them of different class, tendencies, believe in that, for example, all the time. You go to a Shia and you tell him a hadith and you give him the source and the source turns to be Sunni. Oh, no. They throw their hands in the air. No. We don't accept. No. We don't, it's a Sunni hadith. It's not a Shia hadith. It's a Sunni hadith. We don't accept Sunni hadith. Well. Sheikh and the head of the Hanbali school of thought, named after Hanbal. The Sheikh, the Imam is Hanbal. The Mullah is Hanbal, okay? Hanbal says, when a certain matter worries me, I visit the grave of Musa bin Jafar. Ooh. Man, go look at the Hanbals. They've never said this thing. If they did, all the Hanbali Muslims would be there. None of them go there. As a matter of fact, this guy's dead body is across the street. And the Sunnis go over there and walk by that body. They don't pray over there. They walk by it because it's a graveyard. But none of them go across the street to this Musa character. In fact, the Sunnis, during the time of Saddam Hussein and after Saddam Hussein, tried to blow up the mosque, which is the shrine of Musa al-Kazim, built over his grave. And then they give us the next one. Imam al-Shafi, another school of thought of the Sunnis. They have 4, Shias have 1. 5 schools all in together. Most people who come and talk about Islam and they want to demolish Islam always tend to forget to mention to you that there is a 5th one, which is the Jafari school of thought. They only tell you about the 4 Sunni school of thought. Most of them don't know about Shiaism. And the ones that do, don't preach enough. That's why I'm here. Imam al-Shafi says, the grave of Musa bin Jafar is a tried antidote. Only the problem is, both Hanbal and Shafi, they all said this after they died, not when they were alive. Now, some of you already understand what that means when someone says something after they're dead. But for those of you that didn't get what that means, think about it. It will come to you. how a person can talk after they're already dead. Okay? There is a way. As usual, of course, I forget to look at the clock when I start, so I have no clue what time I started. But I anticipate that that time is rounding up around that 1 hour mark. I'll finish with the family portion, and then we'll carry the rest next week in the next part. Part 4 will come to an end. Let's see about his family. We're going to learn about his family, okay? We're going to see what his family is like. According to this viewpoint. Whose viewpoint? Nobody knows. Someone's viewpoint. It could be anybody. Who knows? Anyway, what did this viewpoint tell us? Musa was a unique in his attributes and essential. I mean, he was unique. There's nothing like it. Nothing. He's unique, man. For example, when he wanted to eat his food, you would think he used his hands, right? Oh, that's too easy. That's what everybody else. He used his feet. I mean, what else can you say? The guy's unique. He's going to do stuff nobody else. Ah, man. For he grew up among the family who was the origin of piety, guardians of wisdom and knowledge. Wisdom is something you get through your life when you live your daily life. For example, you're walking down the street, and there's another guy walking down the street, and in front of him there's a pothole, and he steps in it and twists his ankle and breaks it. You see that happen, and in your mind you think, if I ever walk down the street, I'm not going to step there because I just saw what happened. That's wisdom. You learn something throughout your life. That which you learned was not in a book. And what you learned was not something everybody can experience at the same time, like they can if they're sitting in a school, opening a book and reading the book. However, these crazy people are telling you that Musa's family are the guardians of wisdom. They're the guardian of wisdom, like someone is the guardian of their child. When you're a guardian of wisdom, it's like, let's say instead of wisdom, we put here child. Guardian of child. What does guardian of child do? They protect the child. They help the child grow. They keep the child safe from danger. They provide a roof over its head, warm clothes for that child to wear, heal it from sickness, play with it, teach it. How do you do that with the wisdom? No, you tell me how you do that with wisdom. I mean, is there like this guy had all the wisdom gathered, and when people needed wisdom, they would come and see him, and he would grab one and put it in their head? What the heck does this mean? It gets worse. And knowledge. Knowledge too, of course. Come on, man. You know, knowledge and wisdom, they're brother sisters, right? I mean, this guy protected it. If you wanted to learn something, you had to go there, knock on his door. Who is it? It's me. I want some knowledge, please. No, you can't have any. No, not you. No. That's what the guy did. He protected it. You know, he was the guardian. I mean, you at that same time, you could go and open any book and get knowledge. Except here's the problem. Before they invaded Iran, they burnt all the libraries in Iran. Before they invaded Egypt, they burnt all the libraries in Egypt. Oh, nothing left. You destroyed the knowledge. You didn't guard nothing. You destroyed the knowledge. Your forefathers did. Visited frequently by angels. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to think of this. Let's put things in the right perspective. Okay? The Prophet of Islam, the seal of all, the last of them all. The guy that, according to Islam, came down with the final book, the Quran, which is supposedly in Arabic, that has like over 600 words that are not from the Arabic language. How they got in there, I don't know. I mean, the Injil is one of the words. Injil. Okay, Injil happens to now be an Arabic word. Sorry, Greeks, you lost the word. I mean, don't ever use it again. It's an Arabic word now. Okay? Too bad. They claimed it now. Too bad. It's gone. I mean, all the words are gone. Sirat was a Persian word. And no. Now it's Arabic word. I mean, everything. You name it, they took it. Wherever, even the name Quran, there's an Arabic word, but no, they took it. I mean, everything they took, they claim as their own. Everything. Now, that prophet who came with this religion and all that is in it, throughout his whole life, according to him, only one angel came to visit him, Jibreel. That's all he saw, Jibreel. Oh, the one that squeezed him in the cave and he couldn't breathe. The one where his wife Khadija had to give him a lap dance and take off all her clothes to prove to him if it's an angel or a Satan or a demon. That same angel we're talking about, okay? The angel that came with all the verses of the Quran. Oh, there was only one. I mean, only one visited him. This guy, on the other hand, and his parents, I mean, they had angels. All the angels were coming down to visit this guy. Which one's greater? Muhammad or this guy? That guy only got one angel. As a matter of fact, when he supposedly went to the seven heavens with Angel Jibreel and they went upstairs, they reached the first, because, the angel in heaven is not downstairs, it's up. So they had to go upstairs. When they knock on the door, finally the angels on the other side, because, you got guards. Come on now. You think the heaven doesn't have guards? They have guards, ladies and gentlemen. They came to the door. It's an old door. Come on, what do you expect? Allah has no power over nothing. There was no camera system, nothing. The angel came to the door. They don't even have a peephole. And he asks, who is it? Jibreel, the commander of all the angels, says, it's me, your boss, Jibreel. And they said, who's that with you? Now, how did they know there is someone with Jibreel when they didn't know who was knocking on the door? But anyway, that's a whole different question. They said, who's that with you? They don't know the guy. They've never seen him. Jibreel had to say, this is Muhammad. You know him, the stinky one. Come on, let us in. Have you ever heard such a stupid thing like this? Your general leaves. When he's leaving, you don't ask him where he's going. You don't ask him when he's coming back. He's not going to tell you, listen, I'm leaving. While I'm gone, I want you to do this task, this task, this task. I mean, he didn't put somebody else in charge while he was gone. He just took off and nobody knew he left. What, he went through the back door or something? I mean, what kind of stupid story is this? But anyway, it's the Islamic story. So One angel visited the prophet, but all of them are visiting this guy on earth. The place of descent and inspiration. Like the inspiration, like the prophets of the Bible who wrote the Bible. They were inspired to write, and they wrote 600 verses about Jesus, and then later on, every single one of them came to be true. They were inspired to write. Oh, it gets worse, ladies and gentlemen. And revelation. Revelation is stronger than inspiration, because inspiration is in your heart. Something's put there and you write it down. You could be wrong. You could have been inspired by a demon. But here we have revelation. It's what God did and revealed to you. Like the Quran, God wrote it, gave it to you. So now we have a revelation. Let me highlight that. So you don't say, where was it? Where was it? I didn't see it. No, it's highlighted now. You're going to get it in a second. Revelation. And to whom belong all. There's the word all. You got to stretch it because it's important. All noble qualities and virtues in Islam. Everything in Islam belongs to this guy. When you get revelation, that means you are no longer a Muslim. Why? Very easily put. When you have revelation, you have to now, it's your responsibility to also reveal it to the people. God sent the revelation to you. You bring that to the people. When you bring that to the people and you have a book and you say this is the final book, but now you have new revelation because it's being brought to you. You're adding new revelation to this book, which means this book is no longer the final book. You have a new one. Hence, you've left Islam, created a new religion. But these retards write this. It's insult to the retard. They wrote this and they don't understand. They tried to fix themselves. They shot themselves in the foot. What the heck is that? You Shias are not Muslims no more. You left Islam. The minute you believe that angels came to see this guy and his family, and they brought them revelation, you left Islam. You are no longer a Muslim. If you're a Shia and you hear this and you read this, you are no longer a Muslim. If you believe that these people are visited by angels with revelation and inspiration, you are no longer a Muslim. Oh boy. Imam Musa, him being an Imam, was brought under the care of his father, Ja'far al-Sadiq. You remember Ja'far al-Sadiq, the stripper? We covered like 16, 17 parts for the guy, the stripper. He would strip and dance, compete with his mother for the private part of his father, for things you do in the bedroom. That same guy who had his hand in the pocket of all the Muslims, taking all their money, leaving them high and dry. That same guy. That's the guy that raised him from a baby. Of course, he was molested while he grew up by his father, just like all of them were. That's his training into bisexuality and incest and pedophile. It all started there. And the like of whom human history has ever known in faith piety and tendencies except his forefathers, the pure Imam. I mean, they're all pure. Right? Who cares if you're doing bisexual things? Yeah, I guess that's good. I mean, all the LGBT people, they need a prophet too. Come on now. You don't want them to have a prophet? They now can have a prophet. They can have mullah imams and the whole, they can have everything. All of them are pure. Why? Because we have a pure Jesus. They need to compete with the pure Jesus. I mean, their prophet is pure and he jumped in a small puddle of water filled with menstruation rags of women and dead bodies of dogs and cats and all the garbage going from all the homes would go down to that little puddle of water and he would jump in. And when they ask him why you do this, water is always pure, he says. The stinky prophet. And the imams, they're all pure. I mean, Ali was the father of the earth. He's the father of this earth, the one you live in. That's why, whenever a Shia comes up to you and says, Ali ibn Abi Talib, he's also known as Abu Turab, the father of Turab, the earth. You tell them you have a Dr. Alireza Mossavat as well. He claims he's the father of the sun. The sun, not sun like you have a son. I'm talking about sun like, the one that has the rays that hit, okay? Tell them I'm father of that one because I crush Ali, the father of the earth, every day. Tell them you have this guy, okay? Let them, their brains will blow up when you tell them that. Because they'll know that their lies can't work on it, okay? Whenever they bring up Ali, the Abu Turab, you tell them you have Ali, the father of the sun, okay? You tell them that, okay? Blow up their mind inside. And they'll be like, what happened? The game they want to play with you, you play with them, okay? Yes, that is the purity. Ladies and gentlemen, if you like this program, like the program, share the program, definitely subscribe to the program. All you got to do is press a button, with your finger. If you're doing it through the computer, just click on the button. Our program on a weekly basis, the Persian program is watched between 10 to 14,000 people on a weekly basis. The English version is watched between 3 to 500 people on a weekly basis. The numbers are dumbing down by YouTube. But in my Telegram, I can see the numbers, and it's a lot higher than the crap they're giving us over here. They lie, and lie some more because they get paid. If you don't believe me, go watch Fox News, and they will tell you how YouTube has admitted to shutting down channels, locking programs, dumbing down results, stopping programs from being spread when the government of the United States didn't want something being talked about, and that's something being vaccine. Pakistan pays money, 54 Islamic countries pay money to suppress programs like this one. Hence, the numbers are dumbing down. But when you subscribe, you force the algorithm bots of YouTube to promote this program to new viewers who have seen other programs you have watched. While they're scrolling on YouTube, looking at what might cut their eye, they'll get a little glimpse of this video, and it'll say under it, other viewers of whatever program, watch this one too. It will cause some new people to click on it. I bring you the knowledge. As a team, you spread that knowledge. The easiest way is by subscribing. until next week, I leave you in the hands of Jesus. May you all be blessed, and I'll see you next week.